Hi, and welcome to the Outerworlds first episode of competitive player interview things. We're just making it up as we go along, really, but today I'm joined by Nick Blandin and Adam Reiser. They both won a AGP this weekend, Adam in Hawaii and Nick in... which one was it? It was like...
Montreal,
Canada. There we go, Canada.
Yeah.
Everyone forgets about Canada, right? So, congratulations for winning and getting your paid trips, even though Adam's already got one.
Yeah.
But,
Adam's just riding the dream for Rush Express.
Yep.
So we've also got Alex Blandin here from Outerworld as well as me, David Hartley. We're just going to be asking these guys questions about the weekend and how they did and what they would like to do in Japan once they get there. So we'll start with Nick. So in Montreal you played Alice World less Alice World, and there's got to be a better name for that. So what do you actually call your deck?
Well, I was calling my deck the Outerworld.
Oh, okay, that's a good name.
Because there actually is no Alice World in the deck, but the main concept is just Pumpkin Witch, drop a bunch of free creatures like Adam Reiser and Gwyver, and just hit them for so much damage for a minimal amount of mana and just OTK them.
Mm-hmm.
Is the general game plan. Well, the deck just kind of... I feel like almost everyone knows what Alice World does. You kind of just sit there, draw as many cards, and abuse Morgiana to filter through your deck to grab all the combo pieces that you need.
Yeah,
but it's really easy to stabilize and fuel your plays with all the draw power.
So, with the new set, because these were the first AGPs with the Moonlit Savior, did any of the cards from that affect your choices on deck, both of you?
Well, alright, now you're the. Go ahead.
Who's going first? all right. Wallwind, I think, was probably got to be the most important card that I would say from the new set, or at least something that I wanted to put into this deck as an addition, as well as something to play around. I mean, it makes it so that aggro is significantly weaker actually when you can open it either going first against them, being able to open Wallwind, or even on the draw. It lets you stand a chance. So I didn't really want to play aggro.
Yeah, it buys you more time in the early game.
Well, I think in general, just 1 mana cards were the best cards in this format to play around Wallwind, and Alice World that's the whole deck. So.
Mm-hmm. Adam, was there anything?
So pretty much the same thing was when everyone saw the spoilers and you see a Force Spike. Force of Will, it's really hard to win on the draw, as a lot of people know. And so any card that lets you trade up in mana, so you're going to invest 1 to cast Wall of Wind, and you're going to counter, however much they're investing. And so Wall of Wind is a card that fundamentally changes how certain decks or how certain games are played. And so you would obviously want to include that card, or at least try it in a deck playing green. So I'm not sure if Nick played it, but playing Wall of Wind at my AGP.
I put 3 copies in.
3 copies. Yeah, I started at 2. Many. And I ended up cutting robes for them, and I wanted more robes. So I only played 1 Wall of Wind, actually.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah. And then I also played... there's 2 of them that are pretty good. The first one is Apollo, the Interstellar something.
Oh, yeah.
I also put Apollo. Interdimensional Vessel Apollo.
Yeah,
that's the name.
It's the new Regalia.
Yeah, that card's pretty good, especially in spell. Yeah, because Nick is trying to kill you.
You're playing the Pumpkin Witch version.
Yeah.
So
it helps a lot, having the Regalia for Ruler's Memoria. That was.
So for people who don't know, the Apollo
definitely a lot better than the old
Regalia says you can tap it and bounce a guy you control back to your hand. So this is helpful if you play Pumpkin Witch and you can bounce your Gwyver and play it again, that kind of thing. Is that the only use you guys used it for?
Ollie.
Yeah, and making Gwyver plays is pretty important because a lot of times you have a hand where you have to keep the Regalia so that you don't miss your stones, but you open Priest, you draw into another 1-drop or something. Turn 2, you can use the Priest for mana, bounce it back to your hand, and then be able to play it to make the Gwyver play to push for some really hard aggression early game. Or also, going for combos. It's definitely an easy way to push an extra Adam Reiser without having to keep digging for cards.
So
Right, and also red decks sort of have to kill your Morgana in certain situations, and that kind of acts as like a pseudo counter spell to like basically like put the Morgana back.
So
like being able to just like beat any of the removals.
Nick, you also side decked into Yggdrasil, the World Tree. Why did you decide to try that out?
Well, one of the main things I was fearing was if I played against like ruler decks aren't as prevalent. You know, things like Bahamut, Melgus, anything. If people are trying out like other rulers such as Leviathan and Apollo, I was kind of scared that people might just try that, and if they go first, you can just lose. Like sometimes it just steals games. You can't really do anything about it because you can't drop your cards fast enough. But I figured if you side into Yggdrasil against decks like that, they're not going to be playing a lot of the outs. So like Adam Reiser says your opponent loses life instead of inflicting damage, so it'll get around the tree. But decks like Bahamut shouldn't have anything like that. So they're just focusing on trying to kill you with the pure damage.
Yeah, because if
be
they
enough to slow them
get
down,
the ruler out, they can swing for like, it's maybe like, guess like 12, 14, 1600 if they have like a Valentina or Bahamut. And then your tree is going to give you an extra like life, an extra turn with the Alice, and then they can't get through Alice in one hit with their ruler typically, if it's a 1919.
Yeah, it doesn't buy you all, but one turn makes a huge difference against decks like that in terms of being able to win the game.
It's also a lot easier to combo off when you have a 15-15 or a 19-19 rather on board.
Oh yes, like the value of just putting out Alice is like they really can't kill you until they can physically like end, because no one's really going to put out an Alice end their turn, because I mean you'll probably end up killing them or just kill their ruler or something.
So after
overall, it just makes
these events,
Okay, alright.
Going forward, would you still play the same deck? Because like the past couple of AGPs have always been, well, nearly apart from the one which Ryan Miles won, have been Alice Worlds, and they've been dominating since the first AGP in Pasadena. So you still think it's a solid choice?
Definitely.
Yeah. So when the new cards came out, you know, especially the new rulers, the Kaguya and the Primogenitor, I don't know about you guys, but I tried to make them work. And I came up with a few lists. I got some lists from other people, and they weren't as powerful or consistent as, you know, just spamming a bunch of Guibers from Alice's World. So it's hard to imagine there actually exists something that currently is better than that right now.
I feel like Alice World is just so geared to beat any matchup, and in this game, a lot of the ways that the decks go is it's like a rock, paper, scissors type format, but Alice World kind of breaks that in the sense that you're not really just like extremely afraid of anything for the most part. Like you should have an answer for just about everything.
So
on top of just having one of the best threats in the game being Guiber, and also Pumpkin Witch OTKs if you play them.
Yeah. So touching on the go on, Alex.
Sorry. In this, do you think the real problem is Quiver, or do you think it's Reflector Crane?
Here we go. We'll try to avoid this. That's why I wasn't talking about Reflect.
I figured I'd just throw it out there since people probably want to hear the opinions of better players anyways.
Yeah, like yourself, of course.
I mean, I think Reflect has a huge impact on the game, obviously, just because of how prevalent it is, and it's definitely the best ruler out right now, honestly, in my opinion. But I don't think it, with the errata anyway, I don't think that it's actually just like more of a problem than 1-mana 12/12 flyers. Now that we have so many ways to just stop the best answers to them, like Ball of Wind and Robe of the Fire Rat, pretty much lock out the top answers to anything that stops Guibers.
Adam, do you have an opinion?
I think they're both kind of a problem. Yeah, I agree with Nick that Guiber is definitely more of a problem, especially just because it's so easy to cheat it out, and it's just so cost efficient that even the answers to it are costing more than it, and their answers, so inherently they just might not have it. So it's hard to imagine right now that I play a deck without Guiber, to be honest, just because the card is pretty degenerate. I think maybe like, I don't know if the company pays attention to the meta, but they might want to consider at least eradicating it to one less per every other resonator you play rather than two.
Yeah, because then you can't play it for less than five mana total is what you need. So like it's not generating free mana essentially.
Right.
I think that's the main problem. Anything that's generating free mana is not usually fair unless there's an easy way to counter it. So like the new Regalia that they made, it made me think like what you were saying earlier is like Kaguya Primo. They can flip really early, but Barrier is such a good answer to those cards because they just stop generating mana. And then when your free mana generators stop working, your deck is a lot worse.
Yeah, my opinion would be that there's a lot of ways where everything's very undercosted in this game. Well, mostly the powerful stuff, which Squiver and Reflect Refrain and those kind of things. If they originally printed half these cards with like an extra mana cost to it, the game would be much more balanced, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think I'm not sure how it would be, just because it's kind of hard to tell.
I don't think we should go into the can of worms really, but it's something to think about, something for the company to think about at least.
If the cards were just a little slower paced in terms of mana.
Yeah. So you're both going to go back to Japan now, so you're both got the free trip. You both were at Worlds last year as well, so this is your second time going to Worlds.
Yes.
Are you looking forward to it? I mean, you have to be looking forward to it, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think it was just the most excited to see everybody again. You, Adam, but...
Right. Yeah, hopefully a lot of the people who were there last year can qualify, as well as some new faces, of course.
Mm-hmm.
You know, can't be too click-like, but definitely excited to see, Nick back. I guess Alex I didn't see last year, and you again.
Yeah.
And there, like I said, or like you said, I've had my invite since last year at World, so I wasn't super thrilled about winning Hawaii, but I was pretty happy to get another notch under the belt.
Yeah,
and the guy
you wanted that
the guy who
gold plate
did get the plane ticket. Right, I wanted the gold Arla. So the guy who did get second in Hawaii, who my plane ticket will pass down to, his name's Albert Lee. He's a pretty good player. He got second at Vanguard Worlds, like maybe a couple years ago. So he's definitely a good player that'll be joining us. So it's not like some random person.
That's good to hear.
Never played card games before. Yeah.
Nice.
Awesome. So what else should we talk about then? We've got quite some time to fill up.
Well, okay. Did you play the card Hydromonica in your build, Nick?
Did I play what?
Hydromonica. It's the Shion Regalia, because that's another.
Oh, that lets you just search for any card in your. Yes. I thought about it, and it was the mana cost that kind of deterred me from it. I just wasn't 100% sold on how many times I would have I think it's 2 mana open, right?
Right.
It's a top deck, but it's something to look out for, just because it has the potential to just set up for any type of OTK by just being able to shorthand way to just get a card to the top of your deck and just get anything to your hand, because it's not hard to draw a card in any deck for the most part, especially with reflect.
Right, especially with reflect. Yeah.
We kind of steered away from the 2 mana things. We did everything just cost mana unless it was like absolutely essential.
The general rule of thumb this format, and quote from our teammate Ryan Valentino: if it doesn't cost 1 mana or win you the game, you shouldn't be playing. That's
pretty much.
Well, Hydromonica
the game then.
Zero. Right.
Hydromonica can win you the game, though. So
yes, and it can still tap to put a card on the bottom. So if you Cheshire Cat something you don't want, you can end up putting it on the bottom. So I think it had enough utility to like either that one
That's
or
true.
Apollo.
That's very true,
should be like. Another thing is in the mirror match, a lot of times you guys end up like not playing enough resonators because you want to like play around opposing sign to the futures. So oftentimes you're going to leave up mana for like Change the World, for Wall of Wind and stuff. So like in some situations you will have the 2 mana to use. And so I, at least over the weekend, got in some situations where I could, force through an Alice's World because I had the Hydromonica and I had the mana up. So, maybe in the future, consider playing that one. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. So, speaking of Monica, has any of you guys seen the other decks which topped 8s? Because there was
I get to play against a pretty good variety of decks.
And
the
one which the guy came second was like 6 ages or something, wasn't he?
Yeah, it was really solid.
I didn't see that coming.
I think I didn't get to see him playing too many other matchups, but I know aggro was pretty much the most popular thing there, and I think that deck was very well catered to beat that matchup. I'd imagine that matchup pretty much always went his way, but it pretty much just abused the fact of how many counter spells he had and ways to generate the free mana. So like opening Priest and Wall of Wind, like
there was
as
this
much as
combo
possible.
where it's similar to how you
or just
cheat.
turn 2 Feet Sing.
Yeah, that's the one where you can cheat with Reflect Refrain to untap past the
Mhm.
turn, so then it'll get an extra mana, so you can do Elf twice in one turn and play the Feasting for 4 mana on turn 2,
Yes.
turn 3, one of those. And
So you're able
seal out
to
the
counter your opposing. It's like it's just a free Wall of Wind essentially.
game.
So
Yeah, pretty much.
and a 6/10 creature.
What exactly top 8 in Montreal? What were the decks?
Well, I played against an aggro deck in top 8, then I played Kaguya, and then 6 Sages. I know 2 other Alice World-like decks tops. They were the not Alice World decks, essentially. They did not play Alice World, and they were taking Cinderella to counter the opposing Alice World matchups. It was actually the only matchup that I couldn't beat in the Swiss rounds because of Cinderella and like how strong it was in that matchup.
Cinderella's really that good, because we were talking about it before, and having to sack
It's
off one of the
good,
guys.
believe me. It's super strong, especially in World when all your guys are floaters and you can just throw away any amount of them without really caring. It's strong.
So how come
It was
do you
really good
think
to
it's
just
not-
be able to deter plays, but being able to like build up such a huge board in that deck that you can kill Gwybers off actually is when it starts to become a problem.
Because like Cinderella's not,
And you can
seen
literally
much
just
play.
like dark hole the board pretty much.
So why do you think it suddenly popped up now then?
Double black is probably the main thing. Is you really have to make your deck made to be like actually have double black source available for Cinderella to be played. So you have to be playing something like Black Silence.
Or was it just like
And
the fact that
I mean-
Canadian players are just super ahead or something, ahead of the curve?
Well, there was a Canadian team that said they had been testing the build for quite some time, using Cinderella to beat Alice World. So
They had placed
know,
second
they know.
at one of the Gamers Gauntlet events they had mentioned.
yeah,
Oh,
and so they took
okay.
it to one of those and actually did pretty well. So, and also two of
Oh, is that what
the
Cosmo
team
did?
members actually ended up topping.
Oh, cool.
So I would say those were
because there's
probably
that,
some of the 6 in top cut.
there was also the ARG this weekend, wasn't it, in Detroit? Now I don't even know who won it, but it was pretty much just aggro and tree decks which went. So why do you think no Alice World was there?
Well, I mean, the event was only 25 people. I think
yeah,
is
that was the
what
thing.
I read online.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I was thinking most of the I don't want to say the players who went there were bad, but most of the good players who were on Alice's World, who were thinking it's the best deck, they were at the AGPs, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah,
think Alice World takes a lot of in-depth thought to play, and it's I would say it's better than Rush, but it's not so much better than Rush that I feel that like everyone wants to commit the time to learning to play.
Yeah, I mean, with rush decks, if you're playing 15 burn cards, it kind of does itself, you know.
I feel like that's kind of like I don't know. I feel like the deck should be played more creature based, and that's just kind of okay. Instead of like trying to tech something to beat the robe, it's just like I'll just hit them with burn spells as opposed to trying to like push enough damage through with my creatures or trying to like remove the robe.
Mm-hmm. So, let's not talk about the ARGs, because I don't think ARGs are that valuable in terms of results due to the amount of players, but it's still very interesting to see who does well at them and what kind of decks show up. But overall, we should tend to just focus on these AGPs, because that's what really matters for getting to Worlds. and that's what everyone wants to do to become world champion. So going forward, we got another AGP next month in Pittsburgh. Is that how you say it? I'm not American.
Yes.
I don't know these places. And that's in April the 22nd. Any of you guys planning on going? Even though you've all
I'm gonna be
qualified for
going
Worlds
to,
already, so
Pittsburgh.
there's no point. Yeah, so...
Oh, you can still win the prize cards.
Oh yeah,
and,
the prize cards.
It's not like
yeah.
it's not like we soak up the ticket; it gets passed down to the next person.
Mm.
So
So you can get a collection going. I know some of you.
Yeah,
I know Adam's got a collection going.
Impression. Yeah. I won't be going because I live on the West Coast in California, so Pittsburgh's a little too far for me to justify buying a plane ticket just for that.
Yeah.
But I'll be in Vegas and Los Angeles in May and June.
Hoping to dream Kush some other players.
Yep.
That's what he does.
I'm thinking I might go to Vegas just because it's the last week of school. It's like right after I get out, so I might just go there to go to Vegas and then hit up the AGP.
Awesome.
I've heard there's one. If correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there? There's two AGPs on the same weekend. There's one in Vegas and there's one in somewhere on the East Coast. Or is it only Vegas?
I'm not
You
sure.
guys don't know?
I'm not sure when Vegas is. Oh yeah. Is it May 14th, May 15th? One of those.
Yeah, I
May
believe
13th
so.
or May 14th.
Yeah,
I think Vegas is a harder tournament, to be honest.
There's
so
one
if
in
you want,
Charlotte
if you want
as well.
like, to go to the East Coast.
Yeah. So that's Charlotte, North Carolina, I think. But yeah, thanks guys for having this Skype call, meeting thing, interview, whatever you want to call it. We'll hopefully get you guys on eventually, again, some other time if you do well in future. But that's it for now. Is you got any last words? Anything you want to say?
Play Alice's World. You want to plane ticket?
yeah, but
Advice.
that's good advice. Oh, find space for. You need to put barrier and an answer to Gwyber in every deck. I feel like that's where you should start with your deck building. If you're going to make something, if your deck does not have solid answers to Gwyber or a way to cast barrier,
We just say to
There's
everyone play Susan Oa then.
that's not even always the best. Actually, the best answer to Gwyber is your own Gwyber. So
Yeah, or Sign to the Future. One of those two. It's the best answer.
yeah,
Alright.
Sign to the Future. Another card you should probably try to fit in every deck.
Awesome.
But yeah.
Thanks guys. See ya.
All right.
I